Ladies and gentlemen, success doesn't fall from the sky. It doesn't show up on your doorstep one morning like a surprise package. It doesn't come by accident, and it certainly doesn't come to those who sit still waiting for a lucky break. Success is deliberate, not accidental. It doesn't arrive on a whim, nor does it happen to stumble into your life when you're not paying attention. Success is the result of intentional decisions made consistently over time. It is planned, pursued, and produced through clarity of vision and purposeful action. Those who achieve it do not wait for favorable conditions or lucky breaks. They create the conditions and prepare themselves to seize opportunity when it appears. Behind every success story is a blueprint, clear goals, persistent effort, and a mindset that refuses to settle. Success starts with a decision, a firm commitment to grow, to improve, and to act. It's not magic, it's method. It's the product of conscious choices, to read instead of scrolling, to wake up early instead of sleeping in, to follow through instead of making excuses. These choices seem small in the moment, but they build a foundation that shapes the future. People who live with intention understand that every action today either moves them closer to their goals or farther away. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They act on the moment they have. They know progress doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing. Even failure doesn't discourage them because they see it as part of the process, a sign of movement, of growth. When you're deliberate, failure isn't final, it's feedback. Many people admire success, but few recognize what goes on behind the scenes, the sacrifices, the focus, the repeated decisions to stay disciplined. A successful life isn't something you win like a lottery ticket. It's something you build brick by brick, day by day. Intentional living is the mortar that holds those bricks together. You must decide what you want and then align your actions to match that vision. Random effort gives random results. Focused effort gives predictable progress. You can't drift into greatness. Drift takes you downstream, toward the easiest option, the path of least resistance. But success lives upstream, where the current pushes against you, where only intention and effort can take you forward. That's why so few reach it, not because they aren't capable, but because they hope chance will do the heavy lifting. But life doesn't work that way. Life rewards the person who takes responsibility for their future. Deliberate people design their days with purpose. They treat time as their most valuable currency. They're careful with their energy, selective with their environment, and intentional with their relationships. Every decision matters to them because they understand they're not just making a choice, they're shaping a life. Success is not stumbled into, it is summoned through resolve. It doesn't fall into your lap. It flows from your habits, your mindset, and your willingness to choose action over excuses, direction over distraction, and growth over comfort. When success finally comes, it's not a surprise, it's the natural outcome of a life lived on purpose. Change is the path to progress. Nothing truly improves until something changes. This is a truth that applies to every area of life, career, relationships, health, mindset, and purpose. Progress demands movement, and movement means leaving behind what is familiar, comfortable, and often predictable. Many people want better results, but resist the very thing that brings them closer to those results. They want the reward without the adjustment, but without change, progress is impossible. Every advancement you see in life or in history is the result of change. Change in thinking, change in behavior, change in belief. Progress begins the moment a person decides that where they are is no longer acceptable, and they're willing to step into the unknown for the sake of something better. It's not always dramatic. In fact, the most powerful changes are often small, subtle shifts. Waking up an hour earlier, reading 10 pages a day, replacing complaint with gratitude, choosing discipline over impulse. These small changes stack over time and form a powerful engine that drives growth. Change is uncomfortable, and that's precisely why it works. Comfort maintains the status quo. If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always gotten. Progress insists that you challenge your habits, question your assumptions, and stretch beyond your limitations. It's not a punishment, it's a process of refinement. Through change, you discover what you're capable of. Through change, your potential is unlocked. Often, people fear change because it brings uncertainty, but uncertainty is not the enemy, stagnation is. Remaining stuck in routines that no longer serve you, staying in environments that no longer inspire you, or clinging to habits that limit you. These are the real dangers. Change, though it feels risky, is what breaks those patterns. It disrupts the autopilot mode and invites intentional living. The person who embraces change becomes adaptable, resilient, and forward-thinking. They don't fear the future because they know how to evolve. Progress doesn't ask you to change who you are, but to become more of who you were meant to be. Change reveals new perspectives, opens doors that were hidden, and leads to opportunities that would never appear in comfort. It's the doorway to every dream, every goal, every version of a better you. People who progress in life don't have all the answers when they begin. What they have is the willingness to start, willingness to shift, to grow, to evolve. You can't chase progress and cling to the past at the same time. Something must be released for something better to arrive. It might be an old mindset, a limiting belief, or a familiar routine that no longer fits who you're becoming. The cost of change is real, but the cost of staying the same is far greater. Every breakthrough you seek is waiting on the other side of a change you're resisting. Once you choose to move, progress meets you halfway, not with perfection, but with momentum, and momentum creates transformation. Habits build your future. They are the silent architects of your destiny, shaping the course of your life without fanfare or applause. What you do consistently matters far more than what you do occasionally. Every small action you repeat becomes part of a system that, over time, directs the outcome of your health, your finances, your relationships, and your personal growth. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. The future isn't created in a single leap. It's built one decision, one repetition, one day at a time. Habits operate in the background, guiding your behavior with little conscious effort. This is both a gift and a warning. When your habits serve you, they become an engine of progress. When they work against you, they become silent saboteurs. The food you eat, the words you speak, the way you spend your time, and how you respond to stress. These aren't just moments. They're patterns, and patterns, once repeated enough, define your path. No one creates a meaningful life through random bursts of effort. It's not the occasional gym visit, book read, or hour of focused work that builds a strong future. It's the habit of showing up, day after day, whether you feel like it or not. Success is rooted in repetition, not inspiration. You don't need to be extraordinary to start building good habits, but over time, those good habits will make you extraordinary. What begins as discipline becomes automatic, and what becomes automatic becomes powerful. It's easy to underestimate the power of small habits. A single dollar saved, a single compliment given, a single walk taken. They seem insignificant on their own. But repeated over weeks, months, and years, they compound into massive results. Just like drops of water carved through stone, small daily actions, consistently applied, can reshape your entire life. That's the real power of habits, not in their intensity, but in their consistency. Bad habits are just as powerful, but in the opposite direction. They don't wreck your life all at once. They chip away at it. A little procrastination here, a little negativity there, skipping one workout, ignoring one opportunity. These actions rarely feel urgent, but over time they quietly pull you away from who you want to become. The danger is in their subtlety. You don't notice the damage until the consequences arrive. That's why awareness is key. You must inspect your routines with honesty and ask yourself if they are building or breaking the future you want. Your future isn't waiting for you. It's being built by you right now through your habits. Each day is a brick, and your habits are the hands that place it. The quality of what you're building depends entirely on what you repeat. If you want to predict your future, examine your daily actions. What you do today is not just for today, it's the blueprint for tomorrow. And if you want to change your future, you don't need a massive overhaul. You just need to start showing up for better habits, one choice at a time. Life responds to action, not wishes. You can hope, dream, and visualize all day long, but until you move, nothing moves. Wishing without action is like planting seeds in your mind, but never putting them in the soil. It feels good to imagine success, to talk about goals, and to make plans, but results only come when you take deliberate steps toward them. Life does not reward intention alone, it rewards initiative. Motion is the signal you send to life that you're serious, that you're ready, and that you're willing to do your part. Every meaningful accomplishment begins with a decision to act. Not to wait for the perfect moment, not to gather every piece of information, and not to have every detail figured out, but to start where you are with what you have. Action is the bridge between dreams and reality. While many people are waiting for motivation to strike, or for conditions to improve, life is quietly rewarding those who take the first step, no matter how uncertain or small. The difference between success and regret is often measured by the actions taken, or not taken, when the moment called for it. People often confuse desire with determination. It's easy to want a better life, a stronger body, or a new opportunity. What's hard is showing up every day, especially when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. Action requires effort, and effort exposes commitment. Wishes don't demand sacrifice, but action does. And through sacrifice, growth is born. You can't learn from the sidelines. Life teaches you when you engage, when you try, when you stumble and get back up again. The beauty of action is that it doesn't require perfection, only participation. You don't have to take massive leaps every day. Sometimes the most important action is simply not quitting. Showing up for yourself, making the call, sending the email, starting the workout, having the hard conversation. These are small acts with big impact over time. Action sends a message not just to life, but to your own mind. It builds confidence. It says, I am in motion. And momentum begins to build. Every opportunity you've ever wanted is connected to an action you have yet to take. Life doesn't withhold progress. It just waits for you to step toward it. The doors don't open because you hope they will. They open because you knock. They open because you push. They open because you decide that waiting is no longer an option. The longer you delay, the longer life delays its rewards. Time keeps moving, and with it, so does your chance to act. Wishes are passive, but action is power. You are not powerless. You are not stuck. You are not waiting for permission. You are one decision away from movement, and movement changes everything. Action is the trigger that sets everything else in motion. Once you act, life responds, with lessons, with opportunities, and with momentum. Not always instantly, but always eventually, because life may hear your wishes, but it answers your actions. Discomfort is the cost of growth. There is no transformation without tension, no elevation without resistance. Every step forward requires you to stretch beyond what feels easy, safe, or familiar. Growth is not found in comfort zones. It begins the moment you do something that challenges you, unsettles you, or pushes you beyond what you thought you could handle. While most people seek comfort and convenience, those who grow understand that progress demands something different. It demands discomfort. It is the entry fee for a better version of yourself. Discomfort shows up in many forms. It might be the ache of early mornings when your bed calls louder than your goals. It might be the tension of difficult conversations, the vulnerability of trying something new, or the frustration of failing and starting again. But these are the very experiences that sharpen your character and expand your capacity. If everything stayed easy, you would never build resilience, and without resilience, true success is impossible. Discomfort teaches you how to endure, how to stay focused, and how to rise when you fall. The reason growth is so rewarding is because it's not given, it's earned, and the price you pay is discomfort. You can't build strength without pressure. You can't gain wisdom without mistakes. You can't develop courage without fear. Growth is forged in the fire of challenge, not in the comfort of routine. It is in the struggle that you discover how capable you really are. Every breakthrough you desire stands on the other side of something uncomfortable you must face or overcome. People often run from discomfort because they misunderstand its purpose. They treat it like a sign to stop instead of a signal to keep going. But discomfort is not your enemy, it's your guide. It tells you where the real work is. It highlights the areas that need attention, the habits that need changing, the beliefs that need questioning. It shows you the edge of your current capacity and invites you to go further. And every time you accept that invitation, you grow. What separates those who grow from those who stay stuck is not talent, luck, or intelligence. It's their relationship with discomfort. Those who grow lean into it. They don't enjoy it, but they respect it. They understand that discomfort is temporary, but the rewards of pushing through it are lasting. On the other hand, comfort feels good now, but often leads to long-term frustration. Growth feels hard now, but leads to long-term fulfillment. It's a trade, and the price is always discomfort. Nothing great is built in the absence of challenge. You cannot expect to evolve and stay the same. Discomfort is not punishment, it's preparation. It's the process of being shaped, refined, and readied for more. When you stop avoiding discomfort and start embracing it, you stop living small. You begin stepping into the person you were meant to become. Because the path to growth is not paved with ease. It is paved with discomfort, discipline, and determination. That is the real cost, and it's always worth paying. You are the architect, not the audience. Your life is not a performance for others to judge or applaud. It is a construction project, and you hold the blueprints. Every day, you are building something through your choices, your habits, your thoughts, and your responses. Too often, people live like spectators, watching life happen around them, reacting to circumstances, waiting for inspiration, and following the crowd. But progress begins the moment you realize that you are not here to observe, you are here to create. You are not an extra in someone else's story. You are the designer of your own. Being the architect means taking full ownership of your life. It means stepping out of the role of passive observer and becoming the person who makes decisions with intent. Architects do not rely on luck to design a structure. They draft a plan, envision the end result, and begin building with purpose. Your goals, your values, and your vision for the future are your blueprint. No one else can draw them for you. If you don't define the design of your life, someone else will, and chances are it won't match who you want to become. When you live like the audience, you become overly concerned with how things appear instead of how they truly are. You start making decisions to gain approval rather than to pursue authenticity. But when you step into the mindset of the architect, you begin building a life that aligns with your own definition of success. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start laying the foundation with what you have. You begin to value progress over perfection and purpose over popularity. An architect also understands that mistakes are part of the process. If something doesn't go as planned, it's not the end, it's a revision. You're allowed to adjust your design as you grow. You're allowed to knock down old structures that no longer serve you. What matters is that you keep building. Every setback is a lesson in construction, every challenge a test of vision and resilience. The structure you're creating, your character, your career, your legacy, is being shaped by how you respond, not just by what happens. Taking control of your life doesn't mean everything will be easy, but it does mean everything will be intentional. You begin to move with clarity rather than confusion. You stop chasing trends and start building truth. You understand that each day is a new opportunity to lay another brick, to reinforce your foundation, to refine your vision. Some days the progress will be small, almost invisible, but it still counts. What you build in quiet determination will stand louder than anything built for show. Ultimately, the most fulfilled lives are not lived by those who wait to be entertained, praised, or rescued. They are lived by those who accept the responsibility and the privilege of authorship. You don't need permission to start building. You don't need applause to keep going. You simply need to remember that this is your project, and every choice you make is shaping the structure of your future.